Hello there everybody, Sam's Trains here and welcome back to Warley for the 2023 exhibition. This is the UK's largest model railway exhibition, so there should be lots to see and I'm going to give you the full tour, so let's get started. Right, we're inside and it's quite busy, so we're going to start off by taking a look at some of the big boys. So we're going to head over to Hornby to start with, see what they've got going on. So here we are at the Hornby stand by the looks of things, and this is their setup for 2023. And right out front they've got this TT layout showing some locos that we've not seen before. So they've got this HST running sample complete with lights and sound. I don't think you'll really hear the sound, but you can certainly see the lights. And we've got what looks like a Class 50 as well, which I've not seen running before. So both of these are looking awesome, but I think the HST is the real highlight for me. This thing looks brilliant. It's also looking like the TT rolling stock has progressed as well. Check out these. They've got decorated samples for the TTA, the HAA and the 21-ton mineral wagons. Quite hard to kind of comprehend that these are TT and not 00 because the level of detail looks quite similar. And here's what looks like a first shot of the Class 66. So that loco is progressing. Same thing for the Duchess. Just look at the detail on this thing. Don't forget, this is TT, it's not 00, but the detail again looks quite similar. Speaking of 00, check this out. We've got the Black 5 by the looks of it, fully decorated as well. Just check out the finish on those. So hopefully that means the Black 5 won't be too far away. I've also just spied the 88DS Rustons in the flesh as well. Looking pretty decent there in the BR green, so hopefully those aren't far away either. They've also got this sample for the streamlined B17, and this has seen a lot of development behind the scenes. So awesome to finally see something physical of this model starting to take shape. They've also got this. This looks like a 3D print, but this is the Deltic prototype, of course. And I was talking to Sam about this, and he was saying they'll weigh approximately 1 kilogram. And if that's true, I think our tracks are going to need reinforcing. And then finally from Hornby, we've got this, the P2 running along with one of the new smoke generators inside it. Yeah, it looks like it's synchronized too, as promised. That's pretty good. So next we come to the Bachmann stand, so I'm going to walk around it now and see what we can see. So we've got some of Bachmann's latest samples here in both 00 and N-gauge. And here you can see their new HRA bogie hoppers in both 00 and N-gauge. And that 00 gauge one has only just been announced, so it's awesome to see that this model looks basically ready. Also looking virtually finished is the HST prototype in that very unusual livery, which of course the main run of HSTs didn't end up carrying. Here are some of Bachmann's wonderful 009 locos, and of course now I do have the facility to try some of this stuff. So is there anything here you'd like to see? Please do let me know. I'll be willing to take requests. And we got the EFE rail section here, which is possibly the most interesting this time, because of course they got the Bully boosters. Looks like they got one of every livery here as well. Which one's your favourite? Yeah, so Chloe says her favourite livery is the southern green, eh? It is actually very lovely, isn't it?
It's the deep green colour, it's very nice.
Yeah, that's a nice southern livery. So here we are at the Accurascale stand, where there really is a lot to see in terms of prototypes and early samples. We've got what look like first shots from the new pannier tanks. These look absolutely wonderful. You've got a lot of different variations here.
Is that right?
Ah, yeah. And it doesn't wobble around. Blimey.
Perfectly fitted.
Yeah. There we go. So that's the 87 version. And those whistles. Are they turned, those whistles?
Yes. One feature that's never been modelled on any pannier tank before, because the panniers had cast iron chimneys. When you cast iron, it shrinks as it cools. So if you look at the top of a pannier tank chimney, there's holes all the way around the rim. So if you look carefully, you can just see around the rim of the chimney, there's all the little holes in there to let the sand out from when they're casting it, because the top's hollow.
Gosh. In terms of O gauge, they've got their new Ruston on display, and you can just see how much metal there is on this. Really good to see that model coming along so far already. We've also had a close look at some of the buck jumpers as well. They look beautifully detailed, and hopefully next year we'll get to see some of these models decorated. Can't wait to see how these look with some paint. So here we are at the Ellis Clark stand, where there's actually a lot to see this year. They've got their samples for the Black 5, which have been decorated now, so these are pretty much production samples, I think he said. They're looking absolutely wonderful.
We did all the lubricators as well. They're copper.
Yeah, they look
they're
it.
Copper, bent copper.
Makes a difference, doesn't it? You know, the way they catch the light.
Yeah.
You can't get that with plastic, can you? Without a lot of messing around electroplating stuff. They've also revealed an early 3D printed sample of their new War Department 210 locomotive, which is really quite a beast, isn't it? And they also say that they've listened to feedback and they've changed the 8-pin DCC decoder socket to a next 18-pin one, which I think makes a lot more sense. Here's a progress update on their quad articulated coaches. As you can see, this sample is all coupled up and ready to go. The designer was showing us how these actually worked. Very incredible how they've managed to get the close coupling on these coaches, yet they still go around second radius curves. Quite impressive. It was also amazing to meet so many of you at the exhibition as well. So if you came up to say hi, thank you so much. I really enjoyed chatting with you. It really was a pleasure to meet so many different people. Sam Strange shirt as well. That's a true dedicated enthusiast. Thank you. Oh, and you. Yeah, cheers. Fantastic. Thank you. Massive Great Western engine. This large Prairie is actually the centrepiece of the exhibition this year, and it's here because the Earlstoke Manor Fund are trying to raise money to overhaul it and return it to steam. So they've got all of these models which have been donated, and they're selling these today so that they can send the loco to Tyseley where it can be restored. So it was lovely to chat with these guys, and good luck to them. Hopefully they raise the cash. So we're here at the Dapol stand, where we've got models to look at and also a new announcement to talk about. For me, the most exciting thing is the samples of the Hawthorne Leslies, which are fully decorated, and it looks like they've got the full fleet of them here in all of their bright colours, which look fantastic. So let's have a quick look and see what else they've got in their cabinet. So this is their Lionheart 3MT in O gauge. What a cracking model this has turned out to be. And it looks like their Great Western Toads are coming along pretty well in O gauge too. And look at this, interiors. So it looks like they are addressing that lack of interior on previous Dapol brake vans, which is really good to see. Look at this sample of the khaki Mogul. Now I was thinking this would be the same sort of khaki as the City class from Bachmann or something like that. It's a completely different shade, look at that. Very light. And the white numbers on the side of the cab. It's incredible. I really, really like that. I think we'll definitely get one of those. So here we are at the KR model stand, where just like everywhere else, there's a lot to see. There's a running sample of their Big Bertha, which looks very interesting. We've got a close-up look at the Bellerophon, a lot of metal on it. And they've also announced a new loco, which is the WD210, just like the Ellis Clark one. Either way, the models are looking pretty good. Let's hope the standard is a little bit higher than it was on the Fell. So here we are at the Oxford stand, and it seems as though Oxford Rail is having a bit of a resurgence at the moment, because we've got updates on models that we haven't heard from in a lot of years. First of all, the crane. This was announced a good few years ago, and we've heard nothing ever since. Well, here at Warley we've got samples and the project is moving ahead. It's just a 3D printed sample of the crane at the moment, but that does show that some work is being done on the model. I've also heard that it's going to be fully operational as well, so it's going to move. It's not just a static crane as a lot of us expected it to be, which is great. I've also heard that they're looking at putting some high quality features onto that model as well, such as proper bearings on the axles, which will be great. The other model that's seeing some development is the long-awaited J26, which is finally getting done by the looks of things. They're looking at sometime within the next year for that model getting released, and apparently they're also making some improvements to it over the J27 as well. And we got samples on display, and I was lucky enough to even hold one of those. So here we are at the PECO stand, where there's also a lot to see. I guess one of the highlights would be the station building from the Tipfield Thunderbolt, which old Callum has detailed one of the kits up so that it looks absolutely incredible. Loved seeing that. They've also got some of their new TT and N scale wagons to look at. Quite nice to see some other scales on offer as well. And of course they've also got some of their 009 carriages and coaches, which also look wonderful. Now, all of this stuff is actually made here in the UK in terms of the rolling stock, which is quite amazing. It's all printed, decorated, the wheels are made here in this country. Very, very impressive indeed, and the quality looks very high as well, so PECO is definitely one to watch. So here we are at the Rapido stand, and you just know this is going to be good after all the announcements they just made, and sure enough they've got something of all of those announcements on display right here. So first of all, the SCCR01, we've got what looks like a 3D printed sample on display, absolutely wonderful. The Bagnall twins as well, we've got 3D printed samples of those, and I tell you what, one thing that doesn't translate on the internet is the size of these models. You can see how tiny they are compared with some of these wagons, very, very small indeed. And I was talking to the Rapido chaps, apparently to motorise these and get DCC inside them and speakers, a very, very big challenge, so that will be interesting. The Sterling single looks like it's quite far along. We've got decorated samples, as you can see, so hopefully they won't be too long. And here we have a running sample of Rapido's new Jones Goods locomotive, and it's locos like this one that really show that Rapido are fully aware that these early, more obscure locos really sell well, and that they're not afraid to produce them, which is really good to see. So there's a look at the B set with the interior as well. We've got some etched luggage racks, and they're even talking about making the windows removable so that some of them can be modelled in the open position, which is a very, very clever feature and never done before. And there's a look with the roof fitted to give more of an idea of what the coach will actually look like. And in terms of models that were announced a little bit longer ago, we've got the Great Western Small Prairie, so they might be along before too long as well. So much going on with Rapido, such a great stand. We forgot to mention these. Almost forgot to mention the J13s. So 3D printed, and I'll get some shots of these so that you can see the detail, but we have been crying out for a new one of these for a long, long time. And as you can see already, even though these look very, very early, you can see how much more detail these have got than the old Hornby version. We've even got valve gear between the frames, I think. Now, we've just been invited to come and play at the 00 Live Steam Roadshow. Adrian was just saying that the only reason he thinks the Hornby Live Steam system failed was due to a mistake in Hornby's instruction book, which led people to crash and destroy the models. And he's about to let me experience that for myself.
Take a minute or two, just read that and do that.
Was that supposed to be the whistle?
I'm not saying anything.
Okay. Oh, at that point we're supposed to hold it until the whistle stops. Oh, wow.
Sam, who is an expert on trains, crashed our 500 quid Hornby Live Steam engine.
So why
Simple as that.
would the instructions say to hold it in place like that?
Because they got it wrong.
They got it wrong. So the instructions are written so that you basically crash your brand new train. That's crazy stuff.
Wow, he's got it.
Somewhere around here then.
You've got to decide where to put the last flick in. And you've stopped early.
A bit early.
But that's all right. You've learned.
And now we see Richard, who invented the Hornby live steam system, get presented with an award to recognise what he achieved when he came up with this system. And what a truly unique system it is as well. So a massive thank you to 00 Live Steam for letting me come and have a play and almost destroying one of their engines. So there you have it, that was the Warley exhibition for 2023. I think this was the most exciting exhibition we've done here at the NEC in terms of new models announced and also new models on display. It was just awesome. The downsides to the exhibition this time I think were the price. For me and Chloe to get into this exhibition for the weekend, it cost us almost £80, which is £10 more than last year. And that doesn't include the parking and the food, which is also very expensive. So not a cheap exhibition, that's for sure. I think that is one of the biggest downsides. But the upside is most of the manufacturers come here. There's an awful lot to see. So many lovely people to meet. I think that was one of my favourite aspects, and I've promised a shout out to Colin Green, so there you go. A huge thank you to Chloe for putting up with everything this weekend and doing some brilliant camera work for me for this video. So cheers Chloe, appreciate that. And we both had a really great time. So thank you so much for joining us, and I'll see you again very, very soon for another video. All right, cheers everybody. So we found some things for Chloe to look at. Available now in 00 scale. Oh, it's N scale. You should put your thumb down, it's wrong. Misinformation from Chloe.
You said it.
I didn't say it.